I want to share with you some of my thoughts about college. Going to college, the idea of going to college. I want to talk to the youth. If you haven't gone to college, if you're younger and you're considering it, listen in just for a few minutes and take some advice from a guy who went through the experience and now is looking back and has some very specific things that I would wish I could do if I could go back in time and do it all over again. This is the advice that I want to pass on to you. First and foremost, don't go to college just to go to college. That's what I did. I went to college. See, I grew up, I wasn't a kid that never really had a lot of athletic talent in anything like that, but I did have some artistic talent. So I grew up drawing because that's what I was good at. That's what everybody told me. You're good at drawing. You're creative. What an artist. I hear all these comments. And so I went to school and studied art because I got into the art classes. I liked sports, but just was never good enough to compete. It was a very big school, very competitive. And art seemed to fit well for me, so I did it. And got a small scholarship, started going to college. What are my options? Well, all I did was look at art, because that's what I'd done. That's what everyone told me I was good at. And I had a scholarship in art, so I took art classes, and I thought, well, maybe I'll do graphic design, maybe I'll do illustration, kind of bounced around, found my place with a bachelor's of fine arts. That was my degree. Took me 7 years to get through college because I had to work my way. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But I came out of school, looked around, and I was like, what just happened? Well, what am I doing? I have this art degree, now what? I mean, obviously I'd given it more thought than that, but it felt like that. I don't know if you felt like that before, coming out of high school or coming out of a class of some sort where kind of it's the end and you're done, and then all of a sudden you're like, I didn't give this enough thought. I don't know what I'm doing next. And you feel a little lost, a little empty, a little confused. Well, you don't want to feel that way at the end of 4 years and $100,000 of debt that you've just accumulated. So college is a very important part of your life. It's a very important decision. So number one, have a plan. Don't go to college unless you have a plan. Don't go to college just to go to college. Go to college with an end in mind. In other words, I'm going to go to college because my degree in my industry supports this idea that I can go and I can work and get a 20% higher salary in this career because my degree says that I can. The statistics show that I can. Have a plan. Okay, there's a lot of degrees out there. There's a lot of industries out there, a lot of careers out there that don't even require a degree. And you can jump right into the workforce and start making money earlier on. You can avoid all the debt, and you can get a head start on your career path. You can have 4 years of experience before your coworkers even graduate from college. Now, if you're in an industry that doesn't really care about a degree, that could be much more valuable to you than a 4-year degree. So yeah, a 4-year degree is great, but it is an old school model and things are changing. I don't think a 4-year degree is as important as it was. I'm not downplaying the importance of going to college, but if you do, have a plan, do it intentional, understand where your career path is and how important that little piece of paper is to you on that little career path, because that is one expensive little piece of paper, which is our second topic, debt. Do not go to college if you have to do debt. That's my advice. And I take it straight from Dave Ramsey. He's a guy that I really trust and admire, but I've found that to be true myself, and I pass the advice on to my kids and others that I meet. There are better ways of doing it. It doesn't mean, no, I can't afford it, don't go. Harvard, $250,000 or whatever it is to graduate with a 4-year degree in one of these Ivy League schools, they aren't worth it if you can't afford it. So if you don't have the money, or if you don't have parents that have saved up and you've got a nice little pocket of cash that you can just pay for college, or you don't have a scholarship, go to a community college, shop around, go in-state instead of out-of-state. Use the resources available to you. Apply for every Pell Grant that you can. There's so many resources that are untapped out there. Spend the time and make your way through it. Work your way through it if you have to, but graduate debt-free. Make that a goal. If I could go back and do that one thing, that's what I would do. Not that I accumulated a lot of debt. For the most part, I didn't. I did pretty good in this category. But I did go into debt for my internship. I flew out to New York and did an internship with a couple of illustrators, some great guys. Awesome. I loved the experience. Was not worth the $5,000 of debt that I accumulated. That took me a couple of years, because coming out of college, you don't make a lot of money, and you've got expenses, and you have a new family, and you've got bills, and you've got apartment, and you've got life. You don't have all this extra money to throw at debt. So I did minimum payments, and I paid my way through it, probably paid tons of interest on it, and it took way too long. Anyways, again, if I could go back, that's one of the things I'd redo completely. So have a plan, avoid debt like the plague, and number 3, if I were you, I would look at college from a big picture perspective. Don't rush into it. That's the third bit of advice. When you come out of high school, there's this urgency, I think, in our society where, you graduated from high school. Where are you going to go to college? We're going to go to college. We're at parties. You're going to go to college? Which college are you going to go to? Where are you going to go to college? Have you started yet? Are you going to go to college? Where are you going to go to college? Have you gotten applied yet? Have you gotten any scholarships? Everybody is just putting this pressure on. You don't have to do that. You come out of high school, you've just spent 18 years, but 13 years, really, from kindergarten to high school. You just spent 13 years of going to school straight. You don't have to go straight into 4 more. You can take a break. It's okay. I encourage my kids, take a year off if you need. Get some real world experience. Right out of high school, get a job, go work, go do some service. It's a good time to explore and to get familiar with the options that are out there. Do some unpaid internships. Make some offers to some companies just to spend a day or a week at the office to get familiar with what a day in the life of a CPA is like. Maybe you want to be a CPA, and then you go spend a day with a CPA and you're like, heck, I don't want that. Those are good things to have and do before you spend the 4 years and the $100,000 and some odd for your education. Only to find out, and I can't tell you how many people I know, their degree didn't do anything for them, or if they could go back, they get a different degree. They just got a degree, and I fall into that category. There's a lot of us out there. So do it with a plan, avoid the debt, and take a breather after high school or something. Make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you're comfortable. These are major life decisions. Get some input from people like myself that have been there, done that, wish they could go back. You know what? Let me give you a challenge. I'm going to end on this. Out of high school, before you start college, don't start until you've done this challenge. Are you ready? Write this down. Write out this one question, and I want you to go ask 50 people, make it 100 if you're brave and bold. 50 people at least, ask this question. If you could go back and do college all over again, what would you do differently? What would you do differently? Write down all the answers. Go to people you admire. Go to your dad's friends, your mom's friends, your neighbors, your people in your church group, anybody who went to college. They do have to have gone to college to qualify to answer the question. Write them down and assemble all of your notes together. Spend time on this. It's okay. Take a month or 2 or 3 to do this. It shouldn't be an overnight challenge, but do this. And then look for patterns, look for ideas, look for insights. See, I work in marketing. We do research, and then we extract insights from research, from which we build strategies. And then we implement great creative and public relations and media plans and so forth from the strategies. But insights, do your research. You can do this yourself. Go ask people, ask what they think, ask what they wish they could do different. Then extract your own insights. Do some internships at some places. Make your own decisions based on information. Don't make your decisions based on what everybody else is telling you and where the flow of society is pushing you. Don't do that. Hopefully there's some good advice there. I'd love to hear your comments down below. If you've got some other things, some other ideas, some other thoughts, or if you've got a short story to share about your experience with college, please comment below. And hopefully we'll connect and get to talk further about this. But those are just some of my thoughts for today. And I'll talk to you later.